Hi, Best Buds. It's Cathy with Cathy's Garden, and I'm so happy that you joined me today. Oh my goodness, using napkins to decorate in our junk journals. I love using napkins. Now, what I've done here is I've decorated a bag using my napkins, some gold paint, little pieces of lace, some stamping here, and I did coffee dye my bag. I love that look. I also made a very elegant tag to go inside. And yes, the background is a napkin. I love it. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Now, there were lots and lots of steps in making this tag. So let's begin. So what I did was I took this napkin right here, and it's folded and it opens up to a much larger size. And see these beautiful blue flowers? That's what I used in all my bags. I separated them. But on my tags, I used the whole napkin. So I took a piece of cardboard and I glued my napkin onto it. And then I trimmed out the size of my tags after it was dry, and it took a little while. I inked up the edges, and then I put it in an embossing folder. And that's how I got this risen part right here. It is so cool. All right, so then after I did that, I put embossing powder on top. And I just took my pad and I just kind of dabbed it on so I could get the raised areas. But you know, that dust is so fine, it kind of went everywhere. But it gave it this really pretty look. Then I backed my tag, and I just chose that beautiful blue paper we've been using, the food dyed copy paper. Then I sewed around the edge. I punched 2 holes and I placed my eyelets. Then I used some beautiful sari silk and 2 gold beads to really finish it off. And that's how I got to this. Like I said, it took a little while, but it is gorgeous, right? Let's look at each bag, and then we're going to decorate a bag. So here's my bag here, and here's the card that goes in the bag. I just think this set is gorgeous. I did line the bag with that blue paper that I lined the back of the tag with. So it definitely goes together as a set. No question about that. Now you can place this bag in a pocket. You could place it in a belly band. You could put a hinge on it and hinge it out, then journal on the back of your bag as well. So each one is unique, but yet very similar. And then, excuse me, I've got this one. So I kind of altered what side I put my napkin decoration on, depending how the flowers looked, depending on how they looked, which area I thought was the prettiest. Now this is the one in which, when I was first embossing with my embossing folder, I placed this one in, and this is recessed. The leaves and things are recessed, whereas this one, it's raised. So it's opposite. These two are opposite, and yet they're both quite beautiful. You probably wouldn't have been able to tell if I hadn't have said something. So I'm going to pop this in right there. And then the bag right here, and let's pop this one in the bag. All right. So what I started with for my pouches or my bags, whatever you would like to call them, is I started with, I'm getting my stuff here, my bag. And my bag looked just like this in the very beginning. And this bag is 4 inches by 6 inches. I have no idea where I got it from. I've had it for a very long time. You could try Amazon. Then I coffee dyed it and then turned into this. It took on some personality, didn't it? The next thing that I would like to do is I'm going to bring in my blue food dyed paper, and I'm going to cut it so that it fits. I'm putting it all the way down in the bottom of my bag. It fits inside my bag like this. In a little bit, we will go ahead and cut this part with our pinking shears, our little minis. But for now, we're just going to pop it in like that. I'm going to take it out and I'm going to bring in my stamp. Now this is a stamp that it's like ledger paper. And I have my black, my jet black StazOn. And let's go ahead and stamp up our bag. So I'm just going to put my StazOn ink on my little ledger stamp. And I'm going to stamp around here and there. Like this. Then I'm going to go in and I'm just going to try to highlight the name or the top part of my stamp right here. Like that. All right, so it's all stamped up. The next thing that I did was I took my paper and I placed it inside my bag like that. And then I grabbed my art glitter glue. Now you use the glue of your choice. Maybe you like to glue up your whole insert paper and then stick it in your bag. I struggle with that one. It gets caught. It doesn't get all the way down to the bottom of the bag. So I do it this way. It's very unconventional, but it works wonders. And hey, we do things the way we like to do them, right? There's no rules here. No rules at all. You do what you like. However you like to do it, whatever glue you like to use, that's what you should use. And then I'm just smoothing out my glue, making sure that I've got my little bag glued onto my paper here. Okay, got that on there now. Now what I want to do is, this is the napkin that I used. This is the piece of the napkin that I have left after doing all those bags. I did all those bags and I did how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got one that's dry that I haven't brought in yet, 6. So I did 6 bags with 1 napkin. I think that's pretty good. Because, well, 6, 7, 8. I could do 8 because I have 2 more flowers left, clusters of flowers. So however you want to get your flowers out, you can cut it with scissors, or you could use a very small little brush like this one. And this is the way I like to use it, because, or get them out or remove them, because it gives it that jagged look. And it's almost like the napkin becomes the paper. And it looks like maybe it was printed that way. And that's what I like about it. I like that it really, and as you can see, I don't worry about the creases. I absolutely don't. I think it adds texture and levels of depth in your construction of your beautiful bag. So I've got some water right here, and I'm going to put my brush in some water, and I'm going to just go like this. And I'm doing this so that we can basically remove the napkin from the surrounding napkin, and just gently pull it like this. And then right here is the edge of the napkin, and it's straight. And I put water there, and I'm just going to pull it. It's going to go around the edge and pull off any extra. The napkin will stop being removed when one, the water dries, or two, the water didn't seep into that part of the napkin. I kind of look at it, see, do I like that shape? It's not bad. Let's bring in our napkin here. This is where I kind of play around with it, to decide, do I want it looking like that, or maybe do I like it looking like this? And as you can see, my napkin is off my bag. I'm not putting it on there so that it's on there completely. It's okay if your napkin comes off of your bag. In fact, I think it looks best that way if you only use portions of your flour. And I like it like that. I think that's real pretty. I have some white school glue. It's that Elmer's brand school glue. And if this was empty, this much would be glue and this much would be water. I've mixed water and glue together. And then of course you would want to shake it up to make sure it's well mixed. And we're going to attach our napkin onto our bag. I use the white school glue. I like it. It doesn't become tacky. It dries clear. I like everything about it. If you're a Mod Podge person, then you use what you like, okay? This isn't about you have to use this, you have to use that. You use what you like, what you have, what works for you. We're going to apply whatever it is, Mod Podge or white school glue, mine's white school glue, right on the area in which you want to lay your napkin piece. And if I have globs of glue, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. But I am going to try to get it smoothed out best I can. Take my napkin, and I'm just going to gently lay it on top, and then very lightly touch it with my wet brush. Now you can't do this too many times or you'll disintegrate your napkin, whether it's Mod Podge or school glue. Add a little bit more glue, and I'm going to go in lightly just to make sure I get the glue or the Mod Podge covering the top of my napkin all the way out. Whoops, I got stuck on my finger. All the way out to the edge. Like that. It's wet, as you can see. This part will dry. I'm going to show you how you're going to get that off because I have a dried one right over here to my left, and I'm going to bring it in and we're going to continue. All right, here is a dried one. It's completely dried. And I have my little scissors, and some of my napkin got glued onto the back. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to trim off what I can. Try not to cut your bag. You don't want to put a hole in your bag. And trim around. Now you can use an emery board, and I'll show you that method as soon as I get this part trimmed off. You still have some little pieces that you want to remove. Then you take your little emery board and you lightly brush, and it will remove the little pieces. Now you do have to be careful because you can still, sorry if that bothers anyone, you can still put a hole in your bag doing it this way too. So do just take it slow. See, I'd like to glue that little piece down right there. So let's get that glued down. Okay. Now, I have another step. It's pretty and it's nice, but I think it needs a little something else. I have my folk art enamel. This happens to be glass paint, gold. So it's a metallic acrylic paint. It doesn't have to be the glass paint, just one of these inexpensive ones that you can purchase at even Walmart. They're not very much, even still now. You can still buy them very reasonably, and this lasts such a long time, just doing little things like this. So I'm going to add some of this paint onto my glass mat. And I've got a small little, very inexpensive brush. Well, this really, I don't think is quite small enough. Right, this is the one I was using yesterday. You can see the difference. One is a lot smaller than the other. These are very, very, very inexpensive brushes. Cheapo, okay? So just a little bit of paint on the end. And I'm going to start right in the middle. And you know the center of the flower where I'm going to go just off the center a little bit and just bring out lines around. So it just looks like the flower is just opening up. I'm going to do the same thing to the other one, just going around. You don't have to be an artist to do this, guys. Absolutely not. Don't say you can't do this, or even if your hand is shaky, you can still do this. Shaky doesn't matter. It just doesn't. And we're just going to go around some of the lines, some of the edges of the flower. Let's see, maybe the petal goes like this. It really, I'm telling you, it doesn't matter if you, as long as you don't just paint, fill in, you're just making lines. We're not filling anything in, just making lines, adding a little paint and just making some lines. That's all we're doing. So, you know, if your hand's shaky, that's okay. It'll just make it a cooler look. And just lines, not coloring in. We're not coloring anything in. We're just making lines. I can't reinforce that enough because, you know, sometimes people don't hear the first thing I say. And so I'm repeating myself that you just are making lines. Follow the veins of the plant. Follow the edges around the leaf. Only do one side of the leaf. Do both sides of the leaves. Just kind of change it up and go around. That's all I'm doing. I'm not making this difficult. I'm not worrying about if my line looks good. Is my paint evened out? Nope, my paint's not evened out. It's just giving it an illusion. We're giving it illusion of gilding. We're gilding with our cheapo paint. Yeah, we are. We're gilding with our cheapo paint. And look how pretty you have now transformed your napkin. You guys, that's just really, that took it to another level right there. Just another level. Let me clean this up. All right, so my paint is still wet, so I need to be careful. But I do have these pair of scissors. There's Fiskars, and they're mini pinking shears. Now, you don't have to use minis. If you have standard size pinking shears, that will work just fine. And we're going to trim our tag out. Our bag, or not our tag, our bag or pouch, whatever you want to call that. And I just trimmed where we put the blue paper in, so now it's more of a shape of a bag. I've got my frayed burlap, and I like the way inking makes things look. Now, if this is something you don't do, then of course you would have to do this step, but I'm just going to ink up my bag just a little bit, keeping in mind that my paint is still wet. Okay, for my finishing touch, I'm going to add little pieces of scrap lace. Now, if you don't have a fancy tag to go inside, that's okay, you guys. You could put a pre-made piece of ephemera, you know, a digital. You could do that. You could cut your own out and put it in there. You could fold up a paper trifold and put it in there for journaling space. But if you don't have something like this with the gold, because this really kind of finishes off this bag, then you could get some flat back pearls. You could put them in the middle of the flowers. You could put them on the lace pieces. You could put them across the top, maybe a little on the bottom, maybe a little on the top. So you could jazz this up without having that tag that's kind of over the top, right? I'm going to use my, if I can get my cord to come over here, Sure Bonder High Temp with this special little tip. It comes with that tip. I didn't put that tip on myself. And because my flower's over here, I'm going to put this one here, whereas this one's opposite, you see. I'm going to place this over here, and I think I'm going to put this one going this way and this one going this way, just for a little bit more interest. So I'm just going to add my glue, and I'm using hot glue because it allows me not to worry that it's not glued down and has to dry, because it's already dry, just like that. It's dry and ready to go. I absolutely love this project, and I hope that you have enjoyed it too. And if you have, please give me a thumbs up, and I invite you to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. I'll see you there, guys. Bye now.